Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel, so let's get straight into it.
Like it's Minute Maid, hijack 4, renegade, 24, number 8, Kobe shit fade away, ballin' since 11th grade, still in school, let him hate.
One of the most impossible things to get rid of in the NBA, and really just this everyday life that we live, is our tendencies, specifically the tendency that we have to compare and contrast ourselves to one another. Even though it's literally doing damage to your mental, we still all do it on the low. I think this is one of the bigger issues in the NBA world. Now, don't get me wrong, some comparisons are fair and should be warranted, but in most instances, like in this one, they're pretty uncalled for. I'm talking about he's the next ... whatever superstar fits the best. Over the past 5 to 6 years, the most popular players that get compared to prospects are guys like Kristaps Porzingis, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and the topic of today's video, Kevin Durant. In my opinion, Durant is by far the best pure scorer this universe has ever seen. He's the definition of a bucket getter, the best I've ever seen. Now, historically and statistically, he may not have that title, but going off of pure physical talent and the I'm going to shoot over you because you can't do nothing about it because I'm taller and longer than you aspect of his game is the reason why he is the best to me. Now, wait, if you want to get your panties in a bunch and take disrespect, okay, you can take disrespect, but hey, just know that no disrespect intended is coming from me to all of the other great scorers in NBA history. That's just how it works in my mind. But back to the point of this video. We literally hunt for prospects who look like they could potentially mimic the best that the NBA has to offer. And what? Hey, wait a minute. And speaking of offers, here we go again. If you want to go see your favorite team play and are looking to find the most convenient way possible to go about, make sure you go ahead on your technologies and download the best ticket buying app out there, SeatGeek. It's hella convenient. They have a simple ticket rating system to let you know if you're getting a good or bad deal, and also it's color coded. Waste no more time and download this app. Links, of course, in the description. And right before you make your move, go ahead and make sure you use code MOJO99 to get $20 off of your first purchase. Go crazy. During the 2017 regular season, back when LeBron and Kyrie were Cavs, the Warriors were still dominant, and when the NBA just as a whole was a completely different scene, all eyes were on the up-and-coming top 2017 NBA draft prospects. Scouts at the time swore up and down that Lonzo Ball and Markelle Fultz were the top 2 best players available, and at the time, damn near all of America thought that was true as well. Then following up was Jason Tatum, the promising 4, Josh Jackson, big yikes, one of the most promising point guards in the league, De'Aaron Fox, and at 6 is that mystery man in the thumbnail that was being compared to Kevin Durant, Jonathan Isaac. Coming out of Florida State, Isaac stood at 6'10" and weighed barely over 200 pounds. He was mostly praised for his size and uncommon quickness at his height. Scouts were in awe of the potential oozing out of him because he would do things like shoot over defenders at intervals throughout the season and consistently slick flex his mobility on the court. He doesn't run nor glide left to right like a normal 6'11" human. His fluidity and movement are not normal, and thanks to that and his upside offensively, that drove scouts to believe that he had Kevin Durant type potential and that he could be one of the next great scorers in the league because he was a walking mismatch physically. Now, scouts weren't so hung over because of only his offense, they also showed him some love because of his defense, but just not enough. That's the issue. His description and scouting reports coming out of college would lead you to believe that he was bound to be a much better offensive player later down the line than he was defensively, when in reality the script is completely flipped, and rather him being this polarizing offensive player that scouts would damn near have wet dreams about at night, he's formed and sprouted into another monster. A monster that nobody on any given night wants to deal with. Now, this monster may not be the more favorable or pleasing to see through the naked eye compared to offensive players, but this monster is out for destruction regardless. Jonathan Isaac is and has been wrecking havoc defensively all year long. That is his calling card. He's a natural born clamp artist. He isn't this naturally gifted scorer who puts up masterpieces of 25 to 30 points per game on any given night. That's not him. He deals with those type of players and robs them from having that type of night most of the time. One of the most interesting things about his story coming up is that he grew up as a wing, but all of a sudden he grew several inches late into his high school career, and while he grew, he of course maintained that foot speed and one motion type movement. That and his length on the court is why he is who he is today, a clamp artist. His ability to not only be a massive headache to deal with in ISO situations isn't why he's so great. In every aspect of defense, he's stellar, and that does not happen too often. A lot of the better defenders in the league today have hella holes that are unaccounted for on the stat sheet. Things like help defense and the ability to recover afterwards thanks to his quick twitch reactions and length, and his ability to switch, of course, makes him one of the most complete defenders in the NBA today. But most people won't know that though, and I don't blame him. You know why? Because he plays for the Orlando Magic. The most coverage that I've ever seen him got in my life was just a couple years ago. This man was getting clowned on social media for inviting all of his teammates to some type of church event, and I believe, like, he invited his old team, by the way, and, like, it's pretty sad. 0 teammates showed up.
Damn.
Now this would be a completely different story if his offense was on the same level of his defense. Because offensive players get more glorified because it's just more fun to watch. Bucket getters just get more type of love because it's more exciting, and that's how things should be, honestly. But to bring more awareness about his name, I wanted to make this video for this stud. If you were to ask the average NBA fan, not someone like me or some of you guys who are as in tune with the league as I am, who are the top 5 defenders in the league so far this season, I promise you 9 times out of 10, Jonathan Isaac doesn't make the cut because of, once again, the lack of coverage. But in reality, I at least believe that today, or at least this season so far, he's been one of the 2 best defenders in the NBA. One of them being AD. I think it's clear as day that Anthony is running away, far away from everyone else with that Defensive Player of the Year award. Because for one, he's so damn good at that end of the floor, and also because of the coverage surrounding him in LA. If Jonathan Isaac was a Laker and was putting on a clinic like he is this season, and for some reason Anthony Davis wasn't, best believe that he would be one of, if not the leading front runner for that Defensive Player of the Year award. Not only the obvious eye test would lead me to believe that, but the good old stats do too. As in the making of this video, he's tied for 2nd in blocks per game with AD, 3rd in block percentage, only right behind Brook Lopez and Hassan Whiteside, and he's also up there with players who are on better defensive teams in that defensive plus or minus category. His name randomly appears there even though his team is not a top 10 defensive team in the league. On those type of lists, usually you'll see a couple guys on the same team scattered around the place, even though a certain player may not be looked at as a top defender in the league. Nikola Jokic, I'm talking about you. Jonathan Isaac is that dude on that end of the floor, and the scary thing about it is that he's only 22 years old and he's this good already, and he has so much more room to grow offensively. Now I don't think or believe that he'll be anything near what KD is. A 25 point per game average for him is a hell of a reach, and I just cannot see that happening for him, mainly because of his mentality offensive. But if everything goes right, like literally everything on Orlando, he has a chance, just a slight chance I believe, to go ahead and become a 20 point per game scorer in this league. That is his absolute peak in my mind as an NBA player. Isaac so far this season has improved his numbers nearly all around the board after his sophomore season. He's averaging 12 points and 7 boards on very solid efficiency, and this man is also doubling his blocks per game since last year. I'm just letting some of you guys know what your forwards are getting themselves into in the future once they play the Orlando Magic. Yes, he is a 6'11 monster. Yes, he can move his feet better than most. And yes, he is a demon on the court, but he's not a 6'11 demon like KD. He's a 6'11 defensive minded demon. He's Jonathan Isaac. This is the end of the video though, man. I really do appreciate you for coming over here on my channel today and seeing what I have to talk about. That's extremely dope. You know that? I hope you know that. But yeah, man, make sure you go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with at least 9 of your friends. I'm off one today. But yeah, man, until next time, I appreciate you. Make sure you make your day great. But until next time, I'll get right with you.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made the shirt, free the way, Told my girl who'd ever thought.
Dude, what's funny is that Isaac Bongo started for them their last game. Okay, that's cool. By the way, if you saw my tweet yesterday on Twitter.
Well, yeah, I saw your
talking about how,
on Twitter. Yeah, that's where tweets tend to be.
Yeah, shut up. We were talking about the ugliest NBA players.
Yes.
And I pointed out Anthony Tolliver's for show top 10 ugliest NBA players. And it's ironic that I just looked up who's starting for the Wizards for small forward, at least their last game. And it ended up being by far, in my opinion, the ugliest NBA player. He has the championship for that shit right now, dog. He's a reigning champion. He's a reigning MVP for that, and it's Isaac Bonga. He's by far the ugliest NBA player in the league. This dude is only 20 years old, and he looks like he's damn near 40, dog.
I don't.
He's hideous.
Oh, I don't.
He is hideous.
Well, okay. He looks.
He's not one. He's top 3.
Hey, as someone who looks about 10 years older than he is, all right, he looks older.
He's hideous. There's no defending that.
Look, he looks older than he is, and I'm not saying he's a model, but I don't think he's uglier than Tony Snell.
Look, Tony Snell, dude. Okay, Tony Snell has kind of slick glow up. He's still ugly as shit, but he's slick glow up, and he doesn't look as ugly as he used to. Like, rookie Tony Snell and, like, second and third year Tony Snell was hideous. But I mean, not as hideous as this dude right here.